Of course, it's bad news that an already super thin edge group lost Tavius Robinson to a broken foot. Of course, it's bad news that the Baltimore Ravens defense has been historically terrible literally all season long. Of course, it's bad news that a Super Bowl roster, a roster that has been called the most talented one in the NFL, going into the bye week at 1-5. All those things are terrible, but the news that I'm talking about actually occurred to me during that Ravens and Rams game, and I didn't even realize just how significant it was, and that's with this Baltimore Ravens offense. Now, we know this offense, they asked Lamar Jackson to do a lot. They asked Lamar Jackson to cover up so much, but, and I'm sure a lot of y'all have already realized this, but I'm just a little late to the party. I did not realize exactly how much is asked of Lamar Jackson until watching this offense with Cooper Rush, then watching the offense with Tyler Huntley. And the reason I say that is because we know what Lamar Jackson does on a weekly basis. He goes crazy with it. He's the best, not only the best quarterback, but the best player in the league. But with this offense, it's a shame that it's a requirement, not a bonus. It should be a bonus, but him running, him scrambling, him being able to move the way he does in this offense, it's a necessity. And I saw that with Cooper Rush yesterday because this offense, while there were some times when they did actually move the ball down the field and got close, but obviously it wasn't no cigar, they really could not do anything with Cooper Rush under center. The offense, a lot of times, a lot of drives, not only in this game, but obviously in the last game too, they were lackluster. They fell apart. They ended up stalling out. Jordan Stout had to get that work in. It was rough. But see, where my eyes really opened up at was when Tyler Huntley came in the game. Because it's crazy. Tyler Huntley came in the game a little after the half, and he immediately provided a spark. Not through his throwing ability, though. And that was the sad part right there. It was a very sad realization for me. Because, again, like I said, we know what Lamar Jackson, and we know how bad the offensive line has been. Not just this year, but in previous years as well. Not every year under the Lamar Jackson era has the offensive line been bad, but the Baltimore Ravens have certainly they haven't done a good job of assembling a good offensive line. And on top of that, a lot of the decision making when it comes to the offensive line, it's been bad. Because it does not seem, because again, it's a lot of stuff that we just don't see. But it does not seem like they truly, consistently put the best five out there to protect whoever the quarterback is going to be lining up under center. When the Baltimore Ravens signed Cooper Rush this offseason, I thought it was a great move. I thought it was a brilliant move because I said, hey, with Cooper Rush, look at his record. It's 9-5. He's a backup quarterback. He ain't expected to be 12-0 or 75-13 or something like that. We're not expecting that. He's a backup, and he gets limited opportunity. But for him to be 9-5 as a starter, okay, Coop. All right, hey, welcome aboard. That's what we like to see because he's not going to be asked to be the starter. If Lamar is out for a couple of games, you're going to be asked to keep us afloat. Maybe go 500 for however long Lamar's out. But besides that, it's cool. And I thought it was a significant upgrade at the backup quarterback position. So I was happy with the move. Now, there were a lot of people, I guess I should have listened to them, but there were a lot of people that said, this is not a good signing. Why are we signing somebody who cannot do the stuff that Lamar Jackson can do? And obviously nobody can do the stuff that Lamar Jackson can do, at least not on his level. But a lot of people were like, why are we signing a backup quarterback who is not the same type of quarterback that Lamar Jackson is? It's just not a good move. It's not going to work. It's not ideal. But I was like, no. Cooper Rush, that is a good signing. I like it. But it ain't been a good signing so far. It hasn't. Especially, again, and it's nothing against Cooper Rush. This is more so against the Baltimore Ravens. Because this offense is designed and is predicated on the quarterback to be able to run. And that's sad. Because again, yesterday when we watched that game, it was not a coincidence that as soon as Tyler Huntley came in, they moving down the field. Not from him throwing, not from him handing the ball off to either running back, but from him running himself. A good, healthy offense should be predicated on a good run game or a good pass game. And hey, hopefully you can have both, because that's one of the best things. When you can have that flexibility, you can do more than one thing. Oh, it's amazing. It feels great. But this Baltimore Ravens offense, in that game against the Rams, it really showed me like they are not that. And that's scary. That's sad. And look, I get it that Lamar Jackson is not out there. So, of course, the quality of play is going to drop when you do not have your starting quarterback out there. I get that. Trust me, I do. But even when Lamar Jackson is out there, it's a lot of the same stuff. We see it every game. Lamar Jackson snaps the ball looking, because a lot of the stuff is not quick passes, as y'all know. Lamar Jackson called it out a couple of weeks ago too. But with the offense being designed like that, with a lack of quick passing game, these are long, slower developing routes that go down the field, which is okay. Not every single play. It shouldn't be like that. But you got to have those plays incorporated into your offense. So that, with the offensive line that we have, Lamar can't just sit back there and wait. He got to move. He got to scramble. He got to run. He got to make some people miss. He got to do all this crazy stuff in the backfield like we used to seeing him do. And then on top of that, he still got to throw the ball accurately to a receiver. He still got to make that happen. That's a lot to ask of your quarterback. And I know some people go, well, he's a 2-time MVP, which he is. Oh, that's why he get paid the big bucks, which he does. But you still want to be able to have a healthy offense and just a healthy unit on offense. So that includes the offense, a good offensive line. And I know you can't have all-stars everywhere. You can't have Pro Bowlers at every single position. Well, even though Philly they've been showing that, hey, you actually can't. But I get that part. But this offense, that Rams game, it really woke me up, man. It really did, because I just did not realize it. And once I realized it, again, once Tyler Huntley got in the game, I hated it. I said, oh, my goodness. This is who we are. This is who the Baltimore Ravens are. This is who their offense is. That's why we joke about it. But at the same time, everybody knows how much Lamar Jackson covers up for this team. And after that game, I put out a tweet that said, I can never, nobody ever better say that Lamar Jackson is overrated ever again. They shouldn't have been saying it in the first place, but nobody should say it ever again. And I got some people replying, they said, oh, well, the Ravens were 1-3 and when Lamar Jackson was playing. They were. But why? Context matters. In the Bills game, which the Ravens lost, that offense put up 40 points. In the Lions game, which the Ravens lost, the offense put up 30 points. In the Chiefs game, which the Ravens lost, I think they only put up, when Lamar was out there, I think they only put up like 7, but then he left the game due to injury. So, yeah. But my point is, with the losses, minus the Chiefs game, he didn't finish that one. But in those other losses, he put up a lot of points. A lot, despite the offense being the type of offense that it is. Despite the defense being the type of defense that they are. But what I was saying earlier is that we joke about it, about his cap hit that's coming up over the next couple of years. It's raising up to $75 million. So obviously, something got to shake. Either contract extension or, I ain't even going to speak on that yet. Cross that bridge when we hopefully don't get there. But I have said before that Lamar Jackson, if you're going to pay anybody and have anybody on your cap for $75 million, he's certainly worth it. But just simply because of this offense, how this offense is designed. And again, it's the design of the offense, it's the personnel, it's both of those things mixed together. And it's I can't necessarily say a recipe for disaster, but it's just, it shouldn't be built like that in my opinion. I know a lot of people know a whole lot more than me. They really do. But I hate that this offense is so dependent on, and it's been like this for a while, obviously. But I hate that it's so dependent on, all right, Lamar, go run around, man. Go, you got to go take off. Go scramble. You got to buy some extra time because if he's got to do that all the time, which we see, that means, again, like we talked about, there's no short routes. That also means whatever play design as far as the receivers getting open, it seems like they wouldn't be. The run game, obviously, Derrick Henry did do his thing yesterday in that Rams game, but it didn't even mean anything. Ravens scored 3 points. And again, because I know when your starting quarterback is out, a lot of stuff changes. But, they oh my goodness. Yeah, that just makes me nervous for the future. The future of this season, but futures of upcoming seasons. Ravens really, and so much of y'all at the end of the ball have said it, have continued to say it, them trenches, man. Obviously on both sides of the ball, but we're focusing on the offense. So the trenches got to be built better. So what I'm hoping, is it realistic? I think it kind of is. It's a possibility, but I ain't going to count on it. What I'm hoping the Baltimore Ravens do is make some changes on the offensive line. If you have an offensive line to where you're on the 1 yard line, man, the 1 yard line, you got Derrick Henry, even if you're on the 2 yard line. I saw somebody in the comment section say, well, those sneaks, they weren't from the 1 yard line. They were actually from the 2. If you were even on the 2 yard line, and you got an offense, and you got Derrick Henry in the back, and you cannot get it in the end zone, what? You can't get it in? What? And it ain't like this is a one-off. It ain't like, oh, the Rams, they just really showed out against it. This has happened before. This year, too. So it's not anything like, this is a new issue. No, it's not. This is why, with the offensive line, they got to do better. They got to. And this is on John Harbaugh because he's the one that says who does and who doesn't start. This is also on Eric DeCosta. Eric DeCosta, we love EDC. We love everybody on this team. But I feel like Eric DeCosta has not been getting enough attention recently when it's come to the construction of this roster, especially on the offensive line. The Ravens just, in my opinion, they just simply haven't done enough. They haven't, especially when they see the issue. Now, again, trade deadline coming up. Ravens on a bye week. They got some time to make some moves. You could bring some people in. So when we come back after the bye, they can start to get acclimated. Hey, let's go, EDC. But I just feel like they haven't done enough to this point. So hopefully, big hopefully, moving forward, we can see some positive change for these Baltimore Ravens, specifically on offense, obviously on defense too, but what we're talking about right now, they need some significant changes on this offense. We have a million questions. Our inbox is going crazy, but hey, we got nothing but time now since we on the bye week. Let's get into the first question that came from my guy, Duan. He said, the value of Lamar is on full display. I appreciate you, Ingraven, for always keeping us optimistic in the hard work you put in so faithfully to bring us great content. Appreciate you, Duan. Thank you, man. He said, now on to pressing issues. Our Ravens, after much thought, I really don't think we have the team or the mindset to have a winning season this year. Lamar is showing why he is worth so much to this team. The offensive line is in shambles. The Pat Ricard is a gem that the team seems to have underestimated with his pulverizing pancake blocks that spring King Henry. Even that's something too. How crazy is it that a fan base is this excited for a fullback? Now, this ain't nothing against Pat Ricard. This is more so commending him that he's so great at his job. But how crazy is it that in 2025, a fan base is so excited for a fullback to return? A fullback. Not their starting wide receiver. Not their starting running back. Not a corner who's been out, not a safety who's been out, not an inside linebacker, but a full back. Again, that's nothing against Pat Ricard. He's a baller. But that just go again with the design of this the way that this offense is. So, yeah. Anyway, continuing, he said, we need to really reevaluate the offensive line because Falele is not it. I really believe he's just happy to be there. And if the coaches can't put on the tape and watch him fall down or spin around to look for people to touch, and that's it, somebody on the coaching staff needs to go. I heard Lamar was coming back week 8, so I'm guessing that's after the bye, which possibly means we'll be 1-6. If that's the case, we might as well start looking for a new coach, a new defensive coordinator, and pieces to compete next year and pay Lamar before he starts thinking about a way out of Baltimore if things don't change. I mean, he probably would like to play for Miami, and Tua is playing his way out of Miami, so hopefully like John Harbaugh should be, I'm out. Appreciate you, Duan. Now, with Harbaugh said he's supposed to be back for after the bye. So is that week 8? Because we 1-5 now, so that's 6 games. So week 7, yeah, so that's week 8. So yeah, that would be after the bye for the Bears game. So yeah, we 1-5 right now. But yeah, and you said to pay Lamar before you start thinking about a way out. I think what they need to do, just to ensure that he doesn't want to leave, you got to commit to him. You really do. You haven't fully committed to him. You've committed to him financially, but you haven't fully committed to him. And them fully committing to him, in my opinion, will be them really building this offensive, really building it. I think Eric DeCosta said he talked about building a bully. That's one of the first things he said since he's been general manager. But they haven't done that. Ravens have been bullied this year, especially when you see the state of that offensive line. Next question came from my guy, Deshaun. He said, what's up, Ingraven and Ravens flock? I'm upset we lost, but I'm proud of how we are progressing on defense. It was they were moving forward. They did progress on defense. They technically did. Again, the Rams, they dropped some passes and whatnot. Matt Stafford was sitting back there chilling, relaxing. But the Baltimore Ravens, they did progress because, again, 17 points. That's a big win for us. Anyway, he said, I'm hoping we can make some significant changes before the trade deadline and keep Mark Andrews for sure. I think we will win out 12-5 incoming. And just like Cooper Rush on a thrown interception, I'm out. Next question came from my guy, Lionell. That's my guy, man. I appreciate you so much. I still got the pin that you gave me to give Carter a long time ago from when we had came up to M&T Bank Stadium for a game. I appreciate you, man. Still got. I always appreciate stuff. Like I always appreciate when people like look out for. Obviously, I love when people look out for me, but when they look out for my son, it's different, man. It's different, but I got a lot of love for you, man. Anyway, he said, what's going on, my man? Hope everything is well with the family. I got a few questions about our beloved Ravens. He said, with the cap room opened up after trading Ndafe away to the Chargers, what changes do you think we make? Does that mean we sign a pass rusher like Baltimore's own Shaq Barrett, or bring back Yannick Ngakoue, or trade for one? I don't know, maybe a Max Crosby. Do you think our season will turn around after our bye with those potential moves? I think if they trade for anybody, I think it's a interior defensive lineman, defensive tackle. I could really see them signing Drake Jackson, like to their practice squad or something, and then giving them some burn, giving them some playing time, seeing how it goes. I would love for them to get a Max Crosby. I just don't think they'll take a swing like that at pass rush. I would love for them to. I think it makes sense. It would help, but I just don't see them doing that. I don't see them doing that. But Ravens, they got a big opportunity to prove a lot of us wrong. He said, but after the bye, he said, do you think our season will turn around after our bye week with those potential moves? Yeah, I do. I do think it, but mainly we're getting Lamar back. Lamar is such a difference maker, like we talked about earlier. But yeah, so I think it could turn around. It will take a whole lot, but it's still doable. He said, my next question is, with our record sitting at 1-5, when does Harbaugh get fired? Would you like us to bring in a younger coach coming from college or a coordinator from another team, or do you see us promoting Todd Monken? I don't think they will promote Todd Monken to take over for Harbaugh. I think if Harbaugh goes, then they will just clean house, because Harbaugh's been here so long, and he is like, the Ravens are him right now. They really are. He is the Ravens are him. They are like a spitting image. If Harbaugh got fired, it wouldn't happen until after the season. As far as a coach that I would want, Steve Spagnuolo from the Chiefs. successful coach, successful defensive coordinator, knows the defense. And for him, I don't know who he would choose as his offensive coordinator, but you could bring in Mike McDonald. You could bring in not Mike McDonald, sorry, Mike McDaniel as the offensive coordinator. I know Brian Flores, he's another coach that a lot of people have been talking about, and he's somebody that obviously keeps it real because y'all know he ain't like Tua. He told them Dolphins, like, hey, this dude Tua, he is not it. He ain't the one. And a lot of people ain't like that. The Dolphins ain't like that. They got rid of him. This man, look at Tua. he tried to warn people. So that right there, the way that he keeps it real and he's honest, I love that alone. He's a defensive-minded coach as well, so that could help. So, because, again, with this defense, oh, my goodness, it's been so bad. But, yeah, so those are a couple of names. But, yeah, Steve Spagnuolo, that's always the first name that comes to mind. A lot of people have been saying Jesse Minter from the defensive coordinator from the Chargers. I think he was on the coaching staff for the Ravens before. But, yeah, whoever the new coach is, I just want a completely different culture, completely different mindset. Because, again, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, put John Harbaugh in the front office. Don't put him in the front office. Don't. They just need to completely remove that culture once they do remove it and just start afresh, start anew, and move forward. EDC deserves blame too. Next question came from my guy Sean. He said, hey man, hope you're doing well and have safe travels back from that atrocious Ravens game. I appreciate you, Sean. He said, we're hearing a lot of people calling for Harbaugh and his coaching staff to be cleaned out, which I agree with, and that includes Todd Monken. But I think more criticism needs to be directed at Eric DeCosta as well. Before this dumpster fire of a season started, we were talking a lot about how this could be our best roster that we've ever had. Yeah, we were. Especially over here. For sure. I was saying that this is a super team for sure, but we see that, we know the answer to that already. But anyway, he said, and I think now we can admit that was highly overstated and a generous interpretation at best. That offensive line is still atrocious. Daniel F. is always looking lost out there. Voorhees is not as good as hoped, and Rosengarten is having a weaker season than expected. Stanley always has injury issues as well. That's been crazy. I was just talking to my guy about that yesterday at the game. I said, man, with Ronnie Stanley, obviously, he had his injury issues throughout his whole career. But then last year, where they redid his contract and he lost some money, and then he put a lot in incentives too, to where he had to play he played every single game, played every playoff game too. He was out there, he was healthy. Then Ravens said, "Okay, we paying you," and it's probably coincidence, obviously, but now he's been just banged up again, and it's been an ankle too. So it's been crazy, man. Anyway, he said for EDC to not have more reliable depth and just better starters at the guard spots is GM malpractice. The same can be said about the defensive line. He was banking way too much on Maz being healthy. I disagree with that part because Matabike ain't had no issues before. Everything was fine. So you had Matabike and Travis Jones. Travis Jones had been more opportunity that he got. He was looking good. And then they brought in John Jenkins. They also had Broderick Washington, some more depth. They drafted Aeneas Peebles, so I don't really think they brought back Brent Urban too. So I don't really think the D-line was an issue like that. But obviously the injury to Matabike, that changed everything. At edge too, I thought, because I'm like, all right, Odafe Away had 10 sacks last year. Maybe he coming on now. Maybe, here we go. Kyle Vanoy had 12 and a half, I think 12 or 12 and a half, something like that. So I'm like, okay, well, Kyle, hey, we can straight. Then they drafted Mike Green too. I said, oh yeah, here we go. With David Ojabo, I was like, we'll see. Tavius Robinson, he ain't no crazy sack producer like that. But he's somebody that sets the edge, and he can get pressure every now and then. But I thought that we would be straight there. No, we haven't been. We haven't been. Anyway, he said the edge rusher positions are depleted, and they just traded away Owe when we already had no depth at outside linebacker. I'm not saying EDC needs to be fired or is even on the hot seat, but that man needs to do some serious self-reflection and focus a lot more energy on solidifying the trenches. The trenches win championships and games. The Eagles proved that last year, and the Chiefs proved it the years before them. On another note, what was Monken thinking with the goal line play against the Rams? You try to tush-push twice against a team that has more experience and understanding of it than possibly any other team in the NFL. I didn't think about that aspect of it. But at the same time, you can't be scared. Like, you're on the 1 yard line, though, man. You're on the 1, maybe the 2. But you're right there. You can't be scared. But that's a really good point still. He said, The Rams have had significant experience with this against the Eagles. We need to clean house on the coaching staff. And like Harbaugh and his staff, hopefully after this season, I'm out. It's crazy that he's not the only one that ended his questions in this video like that. Next question came from my guy, Ayser. He said, what's up, Ingravenvids? First, let me say, I'm sorry you flew all the way to Charm City just to watch a field goal and a 4-and-out on the goal line. Oh, man, it's cool, man. We had a lot of fun. We loved it, for sure, man. But I appreciate that. He said, anyway, this loss doesn't really sting as much as the other ones. Did the coaching still look inept and downright stupid at times? Of course. Are we all scratching our heads as to why Falele is still allowed 50 miles within our stadium? Better believe it. Am I mad at the play calling and starting Cooper bum over Snoop? Yeah, thumbs up to that. But there was a little bit of promise from this game. The defense actually kind of did their job this game, holding a usually much more explosive Rams offense to 17 points and less than 300 yards. Oh, they held them to less than 300 yards? I didn't know that part. That's another win, another moral victory. He said, while forcing a turnover. He said, us forcing a turnover in 2025 should warrant a parade, honestly. He said, I still think Zach Orr should be fired as well as Harbaugh, but there were a few things in the right direction. Anyway, how are you feeling about the Ravens' rest of the season chances? We have a relatively easy schedule up ahead, but we said this about the past 2 games. And if there's anyone better at squabbling opportunities, best believe it's Harbaugh and the defenseless Ravens. Oof, boy. They do have an opportunity to turn things around. Now, I will say, there ain't no such thing as no gimme game with the Baltimore Ravens. There ain't no such thing as an easy game for the Baltimore Ravens. They don't make stuff easy. So while nothing is going to come easy, they got to win. And now they're at the point where they just really, in order to even have a tiny chance to even sniff the playoffs, you ain't got to technically win out all the way, but yeah, you got to win out.